Cool. So, Todd, you are our producer today because Maddie's actually in Denver today filming for the interactive map.
And I need to harness Todd's Newtopia Now energy because he just got so excited talking about it. I'm like, that sounds great.
Well, it's really the perfect lead-in to our episode today. We're going to talk about all things Newtopia Now.
We are. I can't wait. Yeah. And I like your shirt, Adrienne. I don't think you were wearing that when I talked to you earlier today.
I maybe got a little fancied up since our call this morning when I was still wearing my ride my bike to school outfit.
It feels very Newtopia. It feels more I should have worn something more Newtopian today because I feel like we always like to dress Newtopian, and I don't think this is very Newtopia because Newtopia is so bright and vibrant, and
I was waiting to hear where you were going to go with that. Yes, it is.
And I feel like we should dress the part. So should I do a quick change?
No, I mean, sure. You. Fashion show? Should we do a montage? A fashion montage?
This is The Naturalist. In every episode, we're covering the products, ideas, and trends that are shaping the CPG industry.
Or that we just really like.
Well, I remember last year when we were doing some of our pre-show content, Doug wore his special Newtopia Now socks, if you'll recall, that had these mountains on them, lots of bright colors, and they represented very well Newtopia and all it stands for.
I'm going to have to get myself some of those socks.
So if people are listening, if you're listening and you're like, okay.
And you haven't turned it off yet.
What is Newtopia? So Newtopia Now is our event, New Hope Network's event hosted in August. It will be August 20th through the 22nd. This is our second year of Newtopia Now. And it's really a special event for the conscious CPG industry that's focused on connecting really innovative brands with retailers and investors in this industry. And there's so many things I love about it. We'll talk about the event in depth on this episode, but that it's really relationship driven. And it was so special to be there last year and see all the types of relationships that were forged. And it's just so human. It really is such an event that's driven by human connection. And I love that.
Yes, it has some of that great energy that we always find at Expo West. You'll see some of the same brands you might see. Well, you'll definitely see a lot of new brands. And like you said, really early stage, innovative, emerging brands. But I really think the vibe is so different from Expo West. That focus, again, like what you said on human connection, relationships. It's just a really great ambiance to have a conversation with somebody, take a moment, step aside, just find some time to be together. And I think that that's what makes it so incredibly special.
Yeah, I agree. And it felt like when people actually got there, the people who attended last year felt like it was very different. It was distinct. The environment was different, the activations, the show floor, and all of it is created to enable people to connect, right? So I want to talk about the neighborhood format because I really, really like that. But first, I want to go into, I just saw this stat and I was excited about it. 45% of the exhibitors are first-time exhibitors to
45%.
Any trade show.
That's
not just the New Hope trade show, but our first-time trade show exhibitors. I hate even calling it a trade show. Well, not call it because trade shows are great.
So different. Yeah.
It's different. But I think that is a good indicator of where the industry is right now. We know there's a lot of challenges around tariffs, inflation. Companies are struggling to raise capital, and even retailers are facing some unprecedented challenges right now. With all that said, innovation is clearly alive and well. Yeah. And I love seeing that Newtopia Now is the place that people are going to find that support that they need and really grow as a brand and do it in the right way because it is a more curated experience. So it enables smaller brands to really get the type of visibility that's going to take them to the next level. But isn't that a great stat? 45%.
It's amazing. Well, and I've certainly been discovering a lot of those brands just in my own preparation. And certainly for newhope.com, we've been doing a lot of content about brands for Natural Foods Merchandiser. Our Newtopia Now issue is about to be hot off the press. Well, it's going to press and then it'll be hot off the press. But, just looking through all of those brands and so many new interesting, not only in food and beverage, obviously, but personal care, supplement companies, beauty. And so we'll be featuring a lot of those in the content on newhope.com. We've got some great profiles there. Really cool brands that I'm super excited to meet in person and just have that one-on-one experience.
So I want to hear about some of the companies that have caught your eye or some of the like red threads you're seeing across the companies. First, I want to break down the neighborhoods. So that's one of the interesting things about Newtopia Now is that rather than a traditional pavilion-based approach to the show floor, we've built out what we're calling neighborhoods. And so neighborhoods are these thematic areas that have products across various categories in them. And the commonality is that they're all aligned around a key industry theme that's driving growth and opportunity. So one of those is Thrive, and that's all about innovations in human health. So we see dietary supplements and food and beverage companies in there, but all that are doing innovative things to support health span and consumers on their health journey. Then we have Glow, which is our conscious beauty and holistic wellness space. So not just topical beauty products, but women's health products, wellness products. There's so much happening in that industry, and it's really represented so beautifully in that neighborhood. And then Regenerate, which is all about companies, business models, products that are supporting the health of the planet and that have positive environmental outcomes behind what they're doing. So we approach it that way so that we'd be able to have not just products organized there, but bring content to life. Each of those areas has a stage, a lounge. And so you're really connecting with people around these topics that everyone's feeling really energized about. So I really like that the event is formatted in such a unique way.
Well, and you forgot to mention that each of those neighborhoods has a happy hour too. I'm just saying.
Just saying.
No, but I love that too. And I love the interconnected feeling of the neighborhoods. They are separate. They each have their own stage, their own content, their own happy hour again, but they also feel very interconnected. You can certainly wander through one neighborhood, end up in another, catch some content here, go over to Thrive and catch some content here, hit the Glow salon, get a little beautified. So, all those things can happen on the show floor. And I just think it's wonderful.
It really is like walking through, like I love, and I know you do too, from living
city girl.
Such a city girl. Love walking through neighborhoods. I love doing that in Denver. We'll go like walk through our neighborhood, then you'll end up in another neighborhood. And Denver's such a great place for that, for these neighborhoods that really have a clear identity but are all connected. And so it feels very synonymous with the Denver strolling experience. And we take a lot of those things off the show floor. So we have our Dine-Around Series where each of the neighborhoods has a themed dinner throughout the city where you can connect with people around those topics and community experiences. And that's what the agenda will look like. Wednesday is the community experience day. Thursday, the show floor opens and we have content and discovery on the show floor. And then Friday will be another great day on the show floor. And Thursday evening is when we have those dine-arounds. So it really shows that an event can be at the convention center, but also go beyond those walls of the actual event venue.
I was just going to say, I'm really excited about the dine-arounds. Obviously, that was one of the big highlights for me last year. Also, the community experiences. I think that that's such a fun day. There's so many different things. We have a Plants with Purpose at the Denver Botanic Gardens. There's, of course, the Women in CPG Luncheon that's coming back for the second year in a row. I'm super excited for that. We're partnering with We Don't Waste to do a community give back, helping assemble grocery bags for community members. Just a second ago, when I was thinking about Newtopia Now compared with Expo West, I was thinking, we have this incredible neighborhood networking night at Newtopia Now where all the people coming to the show, exhibitors, retailers, everyone attending the show comes to this big party together. And you couldn't do that at Expo West. I mean, what an incredibly special event that is, and what a nice way to kick off the week and just spend that time together again.
Yeah, and I think it's something that's happening in the industry right now that's reflected in that experience where people are going to connect and then they're going to stay connected throughout the event. And I think that's something that retailers are expecting of their and brands of their relationship with each other. You could apply the same thing to investors, but that it's not just a one-time win. It really is about like, okay, once you get into retail, what does that relationship look like? How do you continue to cultivate it? How do you build on it? Not so much what our content is focused on the stages is really hearing from retailers how they want to build those relationships. So when you go to this event on Wednesday night, then looking at how am I going to stay connected with these people, both on the show floor and beyond Newtopia Now. And it's a much more intentional approach to building business relationships that I believe is the future of the CPG industry and success in it.
Yeah, I certainly agree. It's not just about getting on shelf. It's about staying on shelf, supporting retailers, supporting brands on their road to success, and vice versa. So yeah, I'm excited. So we have a ton of content. What are some of the things? Well, first, we should give like a super quick shout out to the buyer only hours because that's really important. So the show floor is opening both days a day early for buyer only hours. And of course, the trade show hours are August 21st and 22nd at the Denver Convention Center. So
and
those
it'll be
community
an hour early.
An hour early.
9 to 10 on Thursday and Friday. And that also includes the market. So the market is a place on the show floor. It actually was off the show floor last year on a different level it's called the Bluebird Ballroom of the Colorado Convention Center. Beautiful space. We love it, the Bluebird Ballroom. But now the market has moved on to the show floor, and the market is where each exhibiting company can show their flagship product. So every exhibitor gets one product in the market, and that's a place where you kind of start your journey, and retailers can go in there and see products organized by category. So when I mentioned that the neighborhoods are thematic, the market is very traditional retail layout. And so it's a great place to go in and kind of map what you want to see and who you want to connect with. And that will also be open an hour early. And Spins is our sponsor. Then we're doing some really fun stuff with that I'm going to keep a little secret. So you just have to come check it out.
Okay, so let's talk about the content a little bit. Yeah. I know there's a lot of content that we can't possibly cover all of it, but I'd love to hear some of those highlights. What are your kind of most anticipated? It's hard. I know it's hard to choose. You've been so intimately involved in planning all the content.
So hard to choose.
How do you choose your favorite child?
I was going to say you can't, but we'll have to ask my mom that and see what she said.
We know it's not Jessica.
We know it's not. Well, we do have our 2 keynotes confirmed. So that is very exciting. One is Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. Are you familiar with her work, Adrienne?
Only through you, but I have been looking into it a lot since then.
She's really incredible. She does so much work around protein's role in health span. I really like this because protein, we've talked about it for over a year now, how it's one of the biggest trends in the CPG industry. And we don't think it's going anywhere. But what I like about Dr. Gabrielle Lyon is she really contextualizes it, and not just about, how it builds muscle, but how it can truly be used as a tool to support overall health span, quality of life, and also ties it to women's health and issues affecting women both psychologically and physically, and kind of this resilience and tying it all together. And I really like that because, again, it just gives a little bit more substance to something that we believe is here to stay, but we want to figure out what does it really mean for the CPG industry. So she's amazing. You can check her out. She's been all over the place. She was just recently on Andrew Huberman's podcast, the Huberman Lab. She's been all over the place and she's an incredible speaker. We're so excited to have her. And then our second keynote is Michael Costello, who is the CEO of GNC. And GNC is doing some great stuff.
That's exciting.
They've been bringing in emerging brands. They've been really mapping out their store plan around key categories that are most influencing consumer decision making around health. And he's going to really give like a tell-all of what you love a tell-all, right?
I love a tell-all.
Look at you. You're
Almost as much as I love a fashion montage or a makeover.
So tell-all from Michael Costello, and he will not hold back. He is great. He is direct. He is honest.
Love it.
And GNC is doing some great things. So yeah, the keynotes are fantastic. What are you excited about, Adrienne? Because you've been working on some special things.
Well, you know what I'm always wanting to talk about, the NEXTY Awards.
Yes, there it is.
I'm excited for two things. So the NEXTY Awards had a small presence at Newtopia Now last year. We chose 4 emerging brands, one from each neighborhood, to become automatic NEXTY finalists. And then they went on to compete in the Expo West NEXTY Awards. And actually, one of them won. Paioa won the NEXTY Award for Best Soup Frozen Products. So that was exciting. And then we had another winner that was a first-time exhibitor at Newtopia last year, Sturdy Sauce. They won last year too for the NEXTY. So really exciting. We're expanding that a little bit this year. And this year we're going to be focusing a little bit more on categories, food and beverage, supplements, beauty, personal care. And our editors and experts will be scouring the show floor. We'll be picking, probably, 8 to 10 finalists in those different categories. And they will go on to be in a special Newtopia Now NEXTY category that will be at Expo West. So that's super exciting, of course. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about the NEXTYs in a session. So we're going to talk about innovation. What does innovation look like? What does it mean? How do we identify it, discover it, support it? And for that panel, I'll have some former NEXTY judges. So Brody Ferg from Sprouts, Liz Meislick will also be there from Loft Partners. Also Spins, of course, Scott Digger from Spins. And then Sturdy Sauce will be coming to kind of give us their perspective.
Sturdy Sauce is coming.
Yeah. So
this is great, Adrienne, because I think people like see the NEXTYs from afar or see them after, like at Expo West, where we have the great big celebration. But to really get that glimpse into what goes on before the NEXTYs and during the NEXTYs and be a part of it.
And after the NEXTYs.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I'm really excited to bring the Sturdy Sauce guys on, because they had a great story to share with me at Expo West just about, what their journey had been from being named an NEXTY finalist last year at Newtopia, or you know what I'm trying to say.
I know. Yes.
What their experience had been, period.
Yeah. And the success stories. Oh, look at you sprinkling your NEXTY magic on the Newtopia Now community. I love that.
Yes.
And so you'll be hosting that session. I know you're also working on a great session with some buyers. So we have our Buyerside Chat series returning again. What is the Buyerside Chat series, you ask?
Well, are you going to answer, or do you want me to answer?
I was going to let either of us answer.
Please. I feel like I cut you off there.
No. So it is where we bring incredible buyers to the stage to talk about what they look for in innovation and brands that they bring into store, and what they really look for in partnerships. And so it's a great opportunity to not just go to a show and be ready to kind of get discovered by retailers, but also to really listen to retailers and make sure that you're prepared to have the right types of conversations and bringing information that's going to be most relevant to them. So we have Whole Foods once again coming. They did this great session last year where companies in the audience did these short pitches, and their forager team and some of their executive leaders talked about what goes on at Whole Foods when they're looking at their product assortment. Is so valuable. We'll also have Target coming in. They continue to do really great things in the wellness and conscious beauty space. So they're going to be in the Glow neighborhood. And then you are working on a Buyerside Chat that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, me too. This is going to be talking about retail innovation. So that's a topic. I mean, I just think there's so many different kinds of retail models. And there are constantly new ones and different ones. And so we have got some retailers coming in just to talk about their models. Two of the retailers I think are first timers to, well, I was going to say to Newtopia Now, but it's only been around for 2 years. But we have local Denver store, Lever's Locavore, which is a really cool store. It's employee owned. They really focus on those locally owned brands. And then another one that I'm excited, it hasn't been open for very long. It's a pretty new store and it's called Carla's Fresh Market. She's in LA. Again, really works with local brands, with all organic produce. So those are just a couple of the different people we have coming. I mean, we have got so many different people involved in the content at Newtopia Now this year. Of course, Infra is going to be there. If I'm not mistaken, Spins, you already mentioned.
Ooh, I'm back. I really like that, Adrienne, because it really shows that Newtopia Now can provide a platform not just for innovation in brands and CPG innovation, but retail innovation and bringing some of those new, really exciting retailers to the literal stage for our Buyerside Chats. But you're right. There's so many other people who will be there. Infra is going to talk about store differentiation. So a session specifically for retailers about how can you really stand out? Because retailers are also trying to stand out and try new things and reach consumers in new ways. Spins is going to work with us on a session in the Glow neighborhood about the conscious beauty category and customer experiences and some of the really energizing things happening in that space. And also in Glow, I'm looking forward to our session all about investing in women and wellness. And we have powerhouse women in the capital raising space who are talking about what it looks like to invest in conscious beauty and wellness companies now. And from the brand side of things, how can you set yourself up for success and actually be a company that's appealing to investors during this time? So we have lots of great content.
Great.
Are we ready?
Sounds great. Well, and so is the agenda, I think the agenda is now live on the Newtopia Now site, if I'm not mistaken, but it's not necessarily complete. We are still confirming some of those speakers, adding to some of those sessions, adding additional sessions. So, go look at it now, but then come back and keep looking at it. You can also find the exhibitor list there and all the information you need to come to the show.
Yes, that is true. We have most of our programming up and live, but you'll continue to find little gems and nuggets as we get closer to. But yeah, we're in the home stretch. We can't wait. Registration is still open. There are also some great packages available to brands, some really accessible ways to participate, especially for those that have not yet come. And it'll just be a really great celebration of everything that's happening in CPG right now.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It was a blast last year.
And you'll be back from Spain by then, right?
I guess so. We'll see how it goes.
You have to come back. Well, thanks for listening. We're excited. We hope to see you all at Newtopia Now. Don't forget to rate and subscribe and share and check out all the great info on newtopianow.com to get more.
Yeah. And before we wrap up, I'm just going to give a quick shout out because there are so many great brands coming to the show. We are doing lots of different coverage in lots of different ways. So make sure you go to newhope.com. You'll see brands that are showing. You'll see brand profiles. You'll see galleries of different brands. We talked about some of those globally inspired brands a couple weeks ago on the Natural List. So just stay tuned. This content is only going to get better.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a wrap.